Hey everyone, good evening. Welcome to Trade Sage. Today let's discuss the post-market analysis of 19th August. Let me take you to the charts directly. So looking at the Nifty chart, right? So, you know, Indian markets have been sideways for past few days right now. So there are very few options to make money. I think it's both for buyers as well as sellers. So you might think that market is sideways and sellers would have made some money, but it's equally difficult for both buyers and sellers. Now, as you can see on the charts, there is a sharp downfall in the first 15 minutes, and post that markets, mostly stayed sideways throughout the day. I don't see even small scalping opportunities as well for buyers or for sellers for that matter. There's pretty little opportunity. So for days like this, it's better to stay out of trading. As people say, um, even a no trading zone, even a no trading day where you don't lose money, it's like a profit itself. Rather than losing money, it's better to stay out of trade and better to stay out of losses. Until and unless, so currently I think the India VIX is below 13. Until and unless India VIX goes above 13, I'm expecting markets to, consolidate and move sideways. There might be gap ups and gap downs, but post that, markets are usually trending sideways. There's actually nothing to discuss over. It's, as you could see, it's completely sideways. One area where markets could have allowed you to make some money as a buyer is when market fell sharply. Post that, if the recovery would have happened till this 20 EMA, there would have been a good fall, which would have, as an option buyer, would have allowed you to make some money. But as you could see, it tried to go till 20 EMA, but then again it came down. So, there's nothing much you could do. Markets is what it is. Even looking at the future start as well, it is bearish considering it's below 20 MA, below VWAB. So it is bearish, but again, there is one green candle, one red candle, one green candle, one red candle. So it's a choppy market. Even looking at the OI data, by the way, this is Trade Sage where you can see lots of data related to market using which you can make your trading decision. So looking at the OI change data, right? Um, from 9:30, from 9:15 till 10, markets were bearish, right? But no, as you could see, there is bullish, again bearish, right? Um, so yeah, although looking at this data where call OI is greater than put OI change, this is a clear indication that you should never be on a bullish trade, right? If at all today you have taken a bullish trade, then that is, a chance to revisit your trading strategy because the data clearly indicated a bearish signal throughout the day. So ideally, I would have looked for some bearish trades, but yeah, there isn't any big opportunity per se, right? Um, yeah. Coming back to the news, there has been some bullish news. Bullish news in the sense there have been some favorable news from past couple of days where the US um, rate increase, right? That expectations have been decreasing over last few days, which is positive to all the markets, to US markets, to Indian markets as well. And also, as you could see, the treasury yields and the bond yields uh, have been declining over past few days, which is again a good sign for the markets, both Indian as well as the US market. So, looking at the news, again, nothing major in terms of news as well. By the way, over here in the news, you can, see all the major news and what's the news impact on the Indian markets, right? So you have all the, news related to US, news related to wars, news related to crude oil, and other major markets throughout the globe, as well as Indian regional news as well. So this is a good place to get the information in terms of what is happening, right? So even in terms of news, there isn't major news, although I would say most of the news is related to US, bond rates pulling back, as well as the expectation of rate hike in US is declining, which is a good news for the markets. As I said, looking at the charts, it seems that the market is sideways and there is pretty little chance for option buyers to make any money. At the same time, even for option sellers, there is pretty little chance to make money. If you look at this data, right, I'm looking at the 24,100. It started at 143 rupees and it ended at 123 rupees. So there is hardly 20 rupee decay. Okay. So as you could say, it is, you know, going between 130 and 120. So there is hardly 10 points that you would make as an option seller, right? Even looking at the put side as well, it opened at 106 and it closed at 111. So, you know, there's actually pretty little that you could do even as an option seller. So, as I said, since the India VIX is below 13, there are very few opportunities in the market to make some money. So, tomorrow is Sensex expiring, right? Pretty important. So, let's look at the chart and understand where can the markets move, right? So today's closing is at 24,078. So today's closing happened somewhere around here. Okay. So treat 24,100 and this 24,26 as no trade zone. Till markets is between these two zones, just wait and watch. Okay. If at all markets cross this 24,100 zone, it can go till, let's say 24,150. And if it breaches 24,150, it can go till 24,220. Okay. And if it goes about 24,220, which I think is highly unlikely, it can go till 24,300. So that is the upward bullish scenario. Coming to the bearish scenario, wait till the markets breach this 24.25, and post that there is a huge support at 24,000 level, right? So wait for market to breach 24,000. If at all market breaches 24,000, the next support will be at 24,000, 23,900 and 23,837. Right? So that will be the levels to watch out for tomorrow. Obviously, you can use Nifty charts to trade Sensex as well. We no need to look at Sensex charts separately, right? So again, just to recap, 24, 27, 24, 25, and 2400 and 24,100 is a no trade zone. If markets breaches 24,100, next market can go till 24,160 and 24,230 and 24,300, right? That is the bullish scenario. For bearish, if market breaches 24,026, next immediate support and big support will be 24,000, right? If it reaches 24,000, markets will move towards 23,900 and 23,000 837. So watch out for these levels. As I said, you could look at Nifty to trade Sensex as well. Look out for the OI change data and trade sage. In recent coming days, I'll also explain how to trade using the strike VWAP signal as well. This is pretty useful feature, and also you can easily identify which strikes to be in to make good profits as an option buyer. Maybe I'll explain about this page during the um, trading window before 3:30, so that you can get a realistic picture of what this feature is. Yeah, but look at this trade sage product. Let me show you some of the trades that I made today. Again, very few trades that I've made. Um, I was trading this 76,600. Um, and again, pretty uh, nothing great, but yeah. All right. See you guys. See you tomorrow post Sensex expiry.